Opinion about it. Like EOC has given these statements.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to clarify with you and the reasons why schools do not want to have a policy like this.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So what is your specific question?
Specific
I'll answer
questions?
it
Yeah,
one by one.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. The first question is, how long have you been involved in activities to eliminate sexual harassment?
Well, I've been here for 19 years, but because every year we will change our theme or focus of work.
Right.
So in the recent 2 or 3 years, we focus on sexual harassment, anti-sexual harassment.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean in the past we didn't do anything. Well, maybe start right from the beginning of the commission work. In 1996, we established and we tackle different types of discrimination, including sexual harassment. So the first thing we do is to issue a code of practice on employment under the SDO, the Sex Discrimination Ordinance, which includes provision on or guideline for employer how to handle situations like sexual harassment complaint. So that's the first thing, code of practice that we issued in 1996. That was 19 years ago. But in relation to schools, we don't have any code of practice for school in relation to SDO, the Sex Discrimination Ordinance. We do have a code of practice in relation to DDO, the Disability Discrimination Ordinance. I think the principle, we apply the same principle, mutual respect, handle complaint seriously, and have a open and transparent internal complaint mechanism, both for employers and for schools. They have to introduce this kind of practice. So we provide code of practice to employer and schools back 19 years ago. So that's one thing. Another thing that we tackle the problem is through public education. We educate school children, we educate the employers, we also educate the teachers about our requirements. So public education is another angle. The third angle is we handle complaints. In the past 19 years, almost 1/3 of the complaint in relation to the Sex Discrimination Ordinance is relating to sexual harassment. So it's very high percentage, 30%, very consistent throughout these years. And so handling complaint, we try to resolve the grievance and resolve the dispute through conciliation. Conciliation is that we act like a neutral third party. Let the two parties sit down together and sort out all their problems. The outcome may be monetary compensation. It may be apology, or changing school policy or employment policy. So the outcome depends on the individual, whether they like it or not. If they cannot resolve the dispute, we will help or assist the aggrieved person to take the case to court. But we are not legal aid department, so we have to pick and choose those very important case, a case with principle that we want to demonstrate. So these are the kind of things that we did in the past. Well, 2 or 3 years ago, our convener, my convener, under the EOC, we have 4 different committees. The first one is the Admin and Finance Committee, which overlook the money spending and this sort of things, administration. The second is a Complaint and Legal Committee, which deal with complaint issues and legal assistance. The third one is Public Education and Promotion Committee. And the fourth one is my committee, responsible for research and policy area. The convener of my committee, the policy and research area, he saw that there was a lot of complaint, 30% of the complaint consistently relating to sexual harassment. That's why we set up a working group 2.5 years ago to specifically deal with this problem. And that's why we conduct a number of research Some research are commissioned outside, and some research are conducted by our staff, in-house research. And the finding that you saw in South China Morning Post, I think, is related to one of our research study. And no matter the subject of the study is employer or airlines or frontline retail industry, all the findings are very consistent. The number of employee or student facing the problem of sexual harassment is relatively high. For example, in the flight attendants, over 29% of them face sexual harassment in the past 12 months. For school children, over 50% face some form of another sexual harassment in the past 12 months. For retail business workers, 19% face this kind of situation. Even for domestic workers, they just face several people, their employers and or their children, just several people. But up to 7% of them face sexual harassment in the past 12 months. So you can see that the incidence of this kind of harassment is quite high. And that's why we help employers and school teachers or school educational establishments to write down their own policy, their in-house policy, how to handle. But as you mentioned, some of the schools, they thought that, well, because we don't have much complaint, not too many complaints, that's why there's no need for us to introduce policy. And some of them say that, well, if I write down a policy, does that imply that we have a problem in our school?
Okay.
This kind of mentality.
That's the kind of mentality.
Yeah. So that's where we are.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Is it fine if I jot down some?
Yeah,
some
sure.
questions?
Yeah. It's okay.
Okay, so you said you educate teachers and students and employees about sexual harassment. How exactly do you do it?
Oh, well, after we conduct the survey and announce the result, of course, it will create some noise in the community. And for example, for the education sector, we approached the EDB, the Education Bureau, and ask them to assist us to contact all the school principal, and they will issue circular to all the schools, saying that the EOC is trying to help. They help us to organize a series of seminars at different regions, so that the school teachers, the principal, can come and attend. So after the seminar, raise their awareness, and then they notice that there may be some problem if they don't do anything, because under the legislation, if the employee commit a mistake of discrimination, the liability will go to the employer. For example, if a school teacher harasses a student, it's not just the teacher that is responsible or liable to the act. The school itself is also liable. Which we call vicarious liability, vicariously liable. That's why they need to do something.
Okay, so another thing, when you said that you sometimes put the victim and the, if a victim comes to you, or people who have problems with or are sexually harassed, they come to you and they talk about their problems, and then you place them two together and they talk about the differences. Then how does this happen? Do these victims come to you, or do you find them, or how do you get to know about the cases?
In fact, the legislation is what we call a complaint-based system, which means someone who feels aggrieved, they can approach us to lodge a complaint, lodge a formal complaint. So it's not up to us to find out the victims, because it's really difficult. There are 7 million people here in Hong Kong. How can we dig out in each and every case? So the legislation is written in such a way that if someone feels aggrieved, they can approach us and lodge a complaint, and we are duty bound to handle this complaint. So that's what we call a complaint-based system.
When you provide them something like monetary compensation, do you think the victims feel offended that?
Well, it's not for us to provide compensation.
No, I'm not telling you, but then if they are, for mutual agreement, do you think monetary compensation they might get offended because
Well,
after
no,
all it's a
from
crime, right?
from my own experience, not really, because I would say most of the victim, they want apology instead
Yeah,
of
yeah.
want
Exactly.
monetary. But sometimes some of the victims feel that they need to be punished,
Yes.
and money is one
exactly.
kind of punishment.
Okay, money. Okay, they're viewing money.
So as
as
long
kind
as
of
they
punishment.
accept this offer,
Yeah.
I think
There's
that's okay.
Mutual
Mm.
consent. Then,
Yeah.
Could you like give us a few examples of the activities that you have undertaken?
Oh well, as I mentioned, we issue guidelines,
Yeah.
we conduct seminars.
Seminars.
We also conduct workshop, which is specifically, teaching the teachers or the officials how to handle complaints internally.
Mhm.
And we also conduct research, announcing the results so that they to raise their awareness. We also conduct public education program
Mhm.
targeted students.
Yeah, there
so
was
that
one
they are-
talk that EOC gave in 2013 in HKUST as well. So I
Yeah.
think you give regular talks in education schools as well as
Yeah.
universities.
So we tackle it from different campaign
Yeah,
handling,
yeah.
legal assistance, public education,
Mhm.
seminar,
Yeah.
talks, workshops, everything.
So how do you approach domestic servants who have been sexually harassed? Like not many of them would come forward, right? They might be.
Not really. For sexual harassment under the employment area, quite a number of them are from domestic helper. They lodge complaint. According to our research, not many is willing to come up to lodge a
Yeah.
complaint. But in fact, quite a number of
Some
them
of them are coming up.
did lodge complaint.
Are these the sexually harassed domestic workers from other countries?
Sorry?
Or are they locals here or have they come from other countries like Philippines or Sri Lankans?
Well,
or
as the name defines, domestic workers is foreign. It's
Yeah, yeah.
FDH,
no,
foreign
I
domestic
mean
worker.
even comparing to the workers here,
Mhm.
like is there more concentration towards foreign workers coming here and being sexually harassed?
Well, it's difficult to compare because for local employee, I mean, not non-domestic helpers, they are facing a number of employees. For example, if the workplace has say 100 employees, they are facing 100 people on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So the chances of being sexually harassed would be higher because the number of individuals is higher in number in the premises. But for domestic workers, they just face several individuals on a daily basis. Although the number is, as I said, is 6 to 7%,
Yeah.
which is much lower than the say flight attendant is 29%,
Mhm.
like retail workers is 19%. But you cannot directly compare these figures because the number of person that they are facing on a daily basis are different. So we cannot compare it.
That's right.
Mm.
Is there like any particular age group that is being sexually harassed? Could you like?
Wow, that's an interesting question. This is a myth. A lot of people would think that younger or beautiful girls would face sexual harassment more, but in fact it's not. According to our complaint figures, no matter you are at your 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s, or even 60s,
Okay.
you also face sexual harassment. There's no difference at all. So don't have this kind of
Yeah.
stereotyping. And in fact, not just women face sexual harassment, men
Men
and
as
boys
well.
also face sexual harassment. About 5 to 8% of our complaints are lodged by men.
Men. So how does the law punish these criminals? Like, do you have any role in bringing the?
But I think you need to
harassers?
change that concept. Sexual harassment is not a criminal law. It is a civil violation of human rights.
Okay.
So if someone agrees, they can not complain to us. We will consider it. If conciliation fail, they can make a claim in the civil court. It's just civil matter. It's not
Okay,
criminal
it's
matter.
not criminal. Yeah.
So there is no punishment as such.
So,
If the judge find that there is a case,
Mhm.
the judge can what we call award give them an award, asking the harasser to pay back some money or do apology to the
But
individual.
that's the most serious offense. I mean, what? There's no other way, like put them in jail or nothing
No,
like that.
it's not criminal.
Okay.
It's not criminal. Well, of course, the definition of sexual harassment is very wide,
Mhm.
from even a verbal abuse, touching, or even
Yeah, right.
showing or display some,
Obscene images.
obscene
Yeah.
articles. Well, that's the lower range. For the upper range, like sexual abuse or even rape, it's also sexual harassment.
Yeah.
But if it is sexual abuse or rape, it's criminal offense under different
Okay.
ordinance, so they can lodge a complaint to the police. So we handle a whole range of things, but for the more, serious things, they can report to the police and handle it separately by the police.
Okay. Do you offer any sort of counseling to the victims?
No, that's not our service.
That's not-
Our service is handle complaint and conciliate the matter. But of course, if we find that the victim needs counseling, we will refer them to the social welfare department.
Okay, that was good. Could you tell me any difficulties that you face while trying to solve problems?
Well, I think awareness is a very important issue. Even for university students
Right.
like you, you're well educated, but to be honest, when I conduct some training to some student leaders, like when they organize OCamp, orientation camp,
Okay.
their objective is fun. The objective is to enjoy and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are not aware that for certain things that they may offend certain people, which may be humiliating, they totally disregard them. I think respect is very important. So what can help is all people in Hong Kong, including students, they need to be more aware of this issue.
That's true.
Mm.
Are there any more organizations who are supporting this cause?
Well, I would say no, because we have a very unique situation or power. Because we are established under the legislation, and we are the only authority that can handle this sort of thing. But of course, a lot of women's groups, a lot of NGOs, non-governmental organizations, they are also pursuing this cause. They would try to help the victims to lodge complaint to us. So their role is different.
Mhm.
They're helping the victims to lodge complaint. They cannot handle the complaint
Okay.
themselves because they don't have the authority.
I think there are many NGOs as well who are working for this cause. And
Yes.
One of my friends, she's volunteering there to give out flags and promote the message of stopping sexual abuse.
Mm.
So I think there are quite a few.
Yeah, some
NGOs
also
working.
focus on domestic violence.
Right.
Is another area.
But then I think their scope is very limited.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions on what we as students can do to have like a lasting impact on this issue?
Well, as I mentioned earlier on, we in our public education effort, we focus a lot on younger generation,
Mhm.
on students, because well, people like me in the 50s or in the 40s, it's difficult to change their mindset, change their mentality. We can raise a little bit of awareness, but I think it's difficult to change their attitude. But for younger generation, we instill this kind of concept in them, mutual respect, raise their awareness about what is sexual harassment. It will change the whole world, because in school, when they learn more about this issue, when they learn more about mutual respect, when they enter into the workplace, they will bring along this value to this system into the workplace,
Mhm.
so that the workplace harassment will lower a bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
So we have to, do it bit by bit.
Mhm.
In Chinese, what we call 潜移默化, take it step by step, so that from generation to generation we can change it.
That's true. Mm. pretty much done. But I'll just tell you what we are doing as the project. We plan to conduct a survey in our university to find out if people know about. We have a sexual harassment policy, but many don't even know that we have something like that. So we're conducting various surveys and what is their understanding of sexual harassment, and then we're going to like analyze those results and probably publish it and tell them that these are the statistics that some people don't even know, and this is something that we need to do, raise more awareness about. And we are also taking a video and we are asking people everywhere to give their opinion about what sexual harassment means to them. And
So sorry, I'd like to interrupt. Do you think this is a wise idea by taking a video at, going to places like Chimsa Soy or something and asking random people to talk about sexual harassment? Do you think it is wise?
Well, it may not be that useful because, say it this way. When I ask you, what is your definition of sexual harassment? Can you answer that?
I mean, to some extent, I can just say that when a person is being, abused or in any form of abuse is sexual harassment by forcefully by some other person.
I think you will get nothing out of it because most average person on the street, they will not know the definition of sexual harassment. I know you're from UST, right?
Yeah.
You have a sexual harassment policy.
yeah, we do.
You do have poster.
Yes, we
Do have a committee to handle this kind of issue. You even can visit the website to click and download the definition and learn about it. But I don't think you people really understand or remember all the definition. So it's kind of getting nothing if you ask an average person on the street because they have absolutely no idea what the definition is.
No, but not only the definition, but according to them, how they perceive sexual harassment to be. I mean, because we are given a task to go outside our university and raise awareness. So how do you think we should do that?
Well, one way of doing it is you ask them scenario type of question.
Okay.
From a very mild situation to a very serious situation. For example, if someone says a joke about the figure of a girl, what do you think? If someone show you a nude picture, what do you think? Is it sexual harassment? If someone talk very obscene language, talking about their sex life, and you overheard it, does that amount to sexual harassment? I think you ask this kind of question, scenario type, they will give you their idea, their own opinion, and according to their opinion, you can test their their limit. That may help you to analyze the tolerance of people on the street.
Do you think many will answer for something? It's after all a taboo topic. Maybe people are sensitive to talk about it. Even the older generations. Do you think they'll come forward to share their opinions?
Well, because we haven't done that in the past, I don't know whether they will respond to that. But I think people are quite interested in this kind of topic. Every time we have a press release or release the finding of a study, the press will be 20 or 30 of them coming. And because the subject, so to speak, is very sexy. And I think if you ask this topic on the street, they will respond, I think. Yeah.
Any other suggestions that we can do?
Well, depends on the objective of your project. Because I don't know what do you want to.
The main objective is to raise awareness.
Raise awareness.
Because there's not much that we can do, right? We can't change a policy or anything,
But if you ask people on the street, you will just test their tolerance level. You just learn about their perspective. But it's not too much on raising their awareness.
Okay, so our professor said that we should write to the government?
Yeah,
Is it?
to like the education ministry and asking them that why they do not have some sexual harassment policies.
I can give you the answer right away. The government keep saying that it's the job of the EOC
Oh,
to educate the
okay.
public, but they just give us a very small amount of money to run up to oversees all these 4 pieces of anti-discrimination ordinance. Sexual harassment is just a very small
Very
topic
small.
under this umbrella.
Right.
So the government is always like that.
So do you
They
think-
give you a little bit of money and ask you to do a lot of things. And when they are asked whether you have done anything, well, you just ask that authority. But I think we need the whole society, need everyone to help,
Okay.
to be aware of the situation.
So do you think it'll make a difference if we write to them, write to the government?
I think that will make a difference because when people keep putting pressure on them, they will do something in return. Because in the international arena, for example, there is a committee in the UN, the United Nations, called the CEDAW, the Committee on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. One of the key or theme topic that they keep asking different state parties, including China, that means Hong Kong, is sexual harassment. If they, the government know that the civil society is very care about this matter, they will do something, because otherwise they will be challenged in the international arena. Because every 4 years they have to go to UN and report the progress of implementation of this convention.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay.
It's quite
Thank-
quiet on this side. Really, no more questions?
And we, because we need to get some like lasting impact, so we have decided to make a web page or a social, in the social media to probably post our videos and also the result of the survey.
Mhm.
So what is it used for, or what else can we do?
I think setting up a resource website is good because more and more NGOs and small groups or even student groups, they are interested about this topic, and they have to get resource from different areas. Of course, our website has a lot of information, but I think more related information is better. So I think if you develop a website, that would be good, because it's sustainable, it's always there, and you can always build on the previous research or previous findings and add more information in the website. But I don't know whether you can maintain the website for a long time. Unless you establish a group or a body so that it will keep going for years.
Yes, and do you know someone has already created some of that, and we can help them? Because we just have.
Well, of course, some NGO like Ring Nini, this kind of women's group, they have interest in this area and they provide information. But of course, it's not the whole website dedicated for sexual harassment, but part of it has some information about what is sexual harassment and how to prevent.
Got it. Thank you so much for your time and effort.
And thank you for
It really
coming.
means a lot for us.